Hi everybody, welcome to the last day of November as we do our TNT whip around the main stories around Thailand, and a quick apology to those people that didn't like the picture over the past couple of days, just mucking around with the iPhone and trying some different settings. I actually use a software called Shoot, so I was just trying some different settings, people complaining, oh the background's out of focus. Well, that's an effect called bokeh, which is usually with a low depth of field, but it's sort of artificially generated, and anyway, didn't like it. So that's fine. We're back to a wide angle today, so you can complain about that if you want. Move on to a few stories today. We go to Thai PBS World. And this story, one way or another, is going to affect everybody. Price of electricity from January to April to rise. And the Energy Regulatory Commission of Thailand set new electricity prices. It's going to range from 4.68 baht to 5.95 baht from January until April next year. And the price from September until December this year has just been around 4 baht per unit. And the Commission said that it took into consideration the impact of the new pricing on consumers, but also took into account the financial security of EGAT, the main electricity producer in Thailand. And the Commission said it enabled members of the public to express their opinions regardless of the price increase of power from November the 10th to the 24th before it's made its decision yesterday. So that will affect everybody, and those prices going up some 10 to 20% for the first 4 months of next year. Now, I was at the Phuket International Airport yesterday, dropping off some guests at the international terminal, of course, the drop-off area on the second level, and I was stunned by the amount of people that were there dropping off customers, probably just that time of the day, but trying to get off that ramp back down onto the road was, wow, really busy. And here I am literally at the top of the ramp, and I've got another 200 or 300 metres to go before getting back down to the road. That's the car park there on the right. Car park always full these days, and the airport really just sort of jam-packed and nowhere to go, because over the years the local community slowly encroached on the airport. So whilst they could probably increase the length of the runway, they really can't do anything for new terminal buildings or new car parking. Hence the reason they're going to have to build a new airport, and it looks like they're going to build it in Phang, just behind Koh Loy, about 15 minutes from where I live. So no complaints from me. We go to our next story now, and this reported by the PatiaNews.com. Australian tourist allegedly loses 200,000 baht to pickpocket on a Pattaya tour bus. And an Australian tourist has expressed frustration over losing all his belongings and a large sum of money, allegedly to a pickpocket on a tour bus while travelling to Pattaya to celebrate Loy Krathong. And he said he took an air-conditioned tour bus from Ekamai in Bangkok to Pattaya, and upon arriving he discovered his wallet containing 9,500 Australian dollars, that's around 200,000 baht, 1,500 baht, and various documents were missing from his backpack. And he immediately reported the incident to the police upon reaching his hotel in Pattaya. And the police attempted to inspect the bus for any clues, but were informed by the unnamed bus driver that the vehicle did not have any security cameras. And without clear leads or evidence, the police told local media they were unable to determine where Mr. Jivaras might have dropped his belongings or whether the theft occurred on the bus. The investigation into the incident remains inconclusive. Well, there is a bit of a moral to this story, of course. I suppose the only reason I read the story out. Just don't carry large amounts of cash with you whilst you're travelling. I mean, $9,500 Australian, I think it's actually over 200,000 baht in cash, but there's just no reason you need to carry that amount of cash with you. There's so many other alternatives these days. Now, talking about clean air now, and BangkokPost.com reporting the PMI's tourism crimping haze, the government moves to curb PM 2.5 in the north. So they're talking about it, and they're certainly looking like they're going to be acting on it this year. They don't want to see the bad publicity that came out after the 4 months of horrendous air quality last year. And of course, there's also the health dimension of the people that live or visit those areas. And the Prime Minister's voiced concern over the impact of PM 2.5 pollution on Chiang Mai's tourism industry during the high season and pledged to hold talks with neighbouring countries to combat haze and smog pollution. And on his second day of visiting the northern province, the PM met representatives from various agencies and laid down guidelines as they step up efforts to deal with the seasonal bushfires, ultrafine dust and other harmful air pollutants in the region. And he said, "I can see that they're taking the air pollution issue seriously and want to lessen the problem. I use the word lessen because it's extremely challenging to eliminate the problem. Let's be realistic." And that's a fairly realistic comment because anything they do is only going to lessen the impact of the air pollution. They're not going to stamp it all out at once in one season. It goes further, saying the Prime Minister stressed the need to curb sources of PM 2.5 that have long affected people's health, saying exhaust fumes, slash and burn farming and waste management must be addressed. Mr. Satar said haze and forest fires have been plaguing the northern region for years and affecting the region's tourism industry, with people staying away from the northern region in February and March because of poor air quality. Actually, it extends from January to April. And the government will hold talks with Laos and Myanmar to seek their support and cooperation in fighting haze, and Thailand might also offer to help them with managing farm waste for mutual benefits. And he said the Clean Air Bill will hold accountable those responsible for sources of air pollution outside national borders. Well, holding them accountable is one thing, but what can they actually do? And according to the Health Ministry, more than 2.5 million people were affected by haze pollution from 2020 to 2023, Chiang Mai recording the highest number, followed by Chiang Rai and Lampang. Lampang just to the south of Chiang Mai, but those three provinces right up there in the north of Thailand. And over the next 3 or 4 months, we certainly will be referring to this. This is from NASA. It's the Fire Information for Resource Management System, and it shows where the current fires are in basically real time. And we can see Thailand in the middle there, surrounded by Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam. Oh, whoops, I forgot Cambodia there. And we've got Malaysia down the bottom. But these fire maps will show us in real time where the fires are, and we'll know when we compare that to the direction of the wind exactly how bad the haze is going to be on any given day. And a big thank you to 5 Star Marine. They've been with us for over a year. If you'd like to head off the island of Phuket in a bespoke charter trip to any of the beautiful islands, plenty of very nice beaches and selfie opportunities, contact 5 Star Marine. There's a link in the description below if you'd like a special deal as well. Now, the Prime Minister's been up in Chiang Mai for the past few days, and of course on Monday, a big day for tourism with Loy Krathong. And Coconuts Bangkok from coconuts.co says Chiang Mai locals and tourists defy Loy Krathong lantern ban, allegedly causing a fire at the market. So not only up there do they launch the krathongs onto the waterways, but the sky lanterns, the Kom Loy, are also very popular up there, and no matter what they do, they can't seem to stamp them out. And despite the government's stern warning, some people in Chiang Mai just couldn't resist the urge to light up the sky with lanterns on Monday evening. But the festive mood was soon dampened by a fire that broke out at a nearby market, possibly caused by the flying fire hazards. And Loy Krathong is a traditional Thai festival that falls on the full moon night of the 12th lunar month, which was November the 27th this year. And people float decorated baskets or krathong on water to pay respects to the water goddess and wash away their sins. In some parts of the country, especially the north, people also launch lanterns into the air to make a wish. And if you've been to the southern islands of Thailand, often if you go to the beach in the evening, you'll be offered a lantern to set off into the sky. And the story says, despite a strict ban on any sky lanterns, rockets, fireworks and firecrackers, with authorities citing the risk of fire and air traffic disruption, anyone who violated the ban could face up to 800,000 baht in fine, life imprisonment, or even the death penalty. And that didn't stop some defiant souls in Chiang Mai, the northern tourist hub, from releasing lanterns. And apparently there were plenty of vendors who were selling lanterns for 50 baht each to Thais and 100 baht each to foreigners. But around 3 a.m. the next day, a fire erupted at the Wadaros market, and the blaze damaged 3 out of 9 units, including a construction material shop that stored flammable paint thinner. 3 a.m. in the morning. I would have thought most of the lanterns would have been launched early in the evening. Maybe there was a late lantern enthusiast. And the damage from the fire was estimated at more than 10 million baht. So how many lanterns were up in the sky? Well, I've got a friend, Austin Devine, who was up in that area, and he took some video of the lanterns floating up into the skies above Chiang Mai. And as you can see, plenty of lanterns. And not only lanterns, but some fireworks as well, which is also banned. And I would have thought it would have been pretty easy to see the fireworks if the police wanted to try and find the people who were launching all those lanterns floating up into the skies above Chiang Mai. And let's face it, people head up to the north during Loy Krathong to see those lanterns. But you could get the death penalty for launching a sky lantern, according to the coconut story. In our very busy comment section over the past couple of days, people saying, why aren't you talking about that new China respiratory virus? Well, we did touch on it on Monday, and it's not so much a new virus. Let's try and just check the facts as we know them, and also some reaction from Chinese media. And from AP, Associated Press, a surge in respiratory illnesses across China that's drawn the attention of the World Health Organization is caused by the flu and other known pathogens and not by a novel virus. And this reported by China's health ministry, and recent clusters of respiratory infections are caused by an overlap of common viruses such as the influenza rhinovirus, the respiratory syncytial virus or RSV, and the adenovirus, as well as some bacteria. And the ministry has called on local authorities to open more fever clinics and promote vaccination among children and the elderly as the country grapples with a wave of respiratory illnesses in its first winter since the removal of COVID-19 restrictions. And a ministry spokesman has advised people to wear masks and called on local authorities to focus on preventing the spread of illnesses in crowded places such as schools and nursing homes. And the World Health Organization this week formally requested that China provide information about a potentially worrying spike in respiratory illnesses and clusters of pneumonia in children, as mentioned by several media reports, and a global infectious disease monitoring service. Well, that's pretty much what we know about this outbreak of respiratory illnesses in northern China, where, of course, it's very cold this time of the year, and it seems to be affecting children more so than adults at this stage. But I thought, just out of interest, let's see how Chinese media are reporting this, reporting the Western reporting of this particular outbreak. And this is from China Daily, which is an English version of China Daily. Western media's disinformation, a much bigger virus, says the story. And some foreign media outlets compare the ongoing flu with the early outbreak of COVID-19 in China, accusing China of lack of transparent information. Such accusations are unfounded, the story says, given the ongoing challenges faced by healthcare systems globally. Pinpointing specific causative agents in cases remains a challenge, not exclusive to China. It's a global conundrum. And the Western media's exaggerated interpretation stem from several factors. First, there's a lingering panic in the media as a consequence of the aftermath of COVID-19. Secondly, media outlets seek to glean more insights from China's experiences and practices. And third, grappling with domestic public safety challenges, some Western media attempt to alleviate their own anxieties by sensationalising stories related to China. So I thought that was just some interesting coverage. We try and provide a bit of balance from time to time. So that was the way that that particular story is reporting the Western reports about the respiratory outbreak in northern China. Well, going through the stories today, and I happened upon this next story, and I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to head up to the Motor Expo, which is held this time of the year just north of Bangkok. And Nation Thailand reporting that there are 10 new electric cars being showcased at Motor Expo 2023. Always a good motor show, and of course there's plenty of motorbikes there as well. So I think I'm going to pop up to Bangkok maybe early next week. And some of the cars include the Deepal L07 from a new Chinese importer called Chang'an, and that's a pretty handsome looking car. And I have to say most of these new cars all look really nice. Next one's called the Avatar 11 or Avatar 2, also from Chang'an, together with Huawei. And that's a pretty chunky looking SUV. And then the MG Cyberster. This is a 2-seater electric roadster featuring wishbone doors and a soft top fabric roof. And it looks like a real throwback to the MGs from the 60s and the 70s. And SAIC MGIM, it's a 100% electric car, and it's in the shape of an SUV coupe, and well, a fairly pedestrian looking SUV. I don't think that colour particularly helps. And we've got the Aura 07, and this is a sort of an extension of the Aura Good Cat range from Great Wall Motors. And it's introducing a retro 5-seater mid-size sports sedan. I really like the look of this one. Check this out. Again, I'm not really sure about that particular colour scheme, but some really nice cars. And we've got the Netta GT, and it's a sports coupe with 2 doors and 4 seats. It'll go from 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds. Pretty smart looking little car. And we've got the Tesla Model 3. Some of the Teslas already available in Thailand now, and they're going to be introducing their very handsome new Model 3. And Hyundai bringing the Ioniq 5. And that's a large SUV with a very pronounced crease in the midriff there. And Honda, they've also got a new car. It also comes with new white 3-spoke steering wheel. Not sure if that's the only reason I'd be buying the car, but again, it looks fairly handsome in the SUV style. And GAC Aeon Hyper GT, they're going to have to do something about renaming that brand. And it's an electric sports coupe with 4 doors. And wow, a real roadster. I think they're going to have to drag me out of that with a crane. Anyway, I do want to see some of these cars in the flesh, apart from all the other entries from the traditional car makers here in Thailand and the new motorbikes as well. Might see you there. Now, what's been happening with the old Prime Minister? He was part of the furniture for 9 years here. Well, he's been appointed to the Privy Council in Thailand. And the former Prime Minister, General Prayut Chan-o-cha, has been appointed a member of the Privy Council. According to the Royal Gazette, it said His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn has appointed General Prayut a Privy Councillor effective from yesterday. The Privy Council, which serves as a body of advisors to the monarchy, was created during the reign of King Rama V. The Privy Councillors are also tasked with coordinating between the Crown and the government, Parliament, courts of justice, private organisations and citizens regarding matters stated in relevant laws. So the Prime Minister, looking fairly happy there, appointed a member of the Privy Council, and that's pretty much a lifetime appointment. So good luck to the old Prime Minister. And thank you for watching today. Hopefully you'll have a fantastic Thursday ahead. Big thanks to our sponsors, 5-Star Marine. Please subscribe to the channel if you get a moment. I'd really appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.